versus sort of actually just ripping apart Denver. Sorry, but that's kind of what down. Happens, of course. Not that Denver is someone who is going to be consistently destroyed by SortOf. It just, you know, that was an unfortunate series. Can SortOf actually do that again against Elazer? Nah, I don't think so. In fact, it could even go the opposite way. These guys are probably somewhat well matched for each other. I believe SortOf is in Europe to play from here, but I'm actually not sure about that. Didn't he participate in the GSL qualifiers? I'll double check in just a second. The top left going for a 12 pool. It is Elazer. In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is SortOf. Not going for his own 12 pool, like the last CVD series we saw with him. But he is going to have to deal with it again, so that's kind of funny. ZVZ, am I right, guys? So yeah, I feel like SortOf tweeted about being disappointed in his result for the GSL qualifier. But it could have been just coincidentally timed. Yes, you know what? No, it definitely was GSL. So he lost versus Fantasy and versus Sue, didn't make it through. It rhymed. Spoiler alert, if you care, but Scarlet was the only one that made it through. So congrats to her. Now this does mean, right, a lot of these players are going to have to travel themselves to Kiev for spring, but Scarlet probably wouldn't have any trouble with that. I say a lot of these players, I meant Scarlet. I don't know if I say a lot of these players. I guess a lot of the players are risking that they would have to do that. That's the better way to put it. Anyways, but SortOf by losing out in the GSL qualifiers, well, now he's here. Now hopefully he can get his ticket, even though he's playing with some pretty horrendous ping. I mean, Korea to anywhere is tough, but Korea to Europe is the worst. So, directly going into perhaps microing against Lings, right? So I bring it up. This is what's gonna have to happen here. He knows what pool timing it is. He's about to see the exact build with the hatchery, but he's probably figuring it out right now. Buy time with the drones, and then wait for the Lings, and hopefully it'll be good. He's actually gonna drone drill on top of these Lings, which is, ooh, dangerous stuff, dangerous stuff. I'm actually, Okay, so he saw like a lot of Lings, right? Like Elazer really did dedicate quite a lot of Lings to do this, but I'm still surprised that SortOf took the fights. Right? By losing 5 drones, he puts himself below the drone count of his opponent, which is unideal. Because even though he kept his hatchery alive, that's kind of what you gotta do, and now your opponent has a hatchery and a slight drone lead. Although Elazer, with the miss micro, loses a ton of Lings by being surrounded there. He was too busy focusing over here. That's unfortunate. That's, you know, that's a counterattack that it SortOf should definitely do. Force Elazer to make more Lings, even just 1 or 2 sets. But it looks like Elazer going to be playing a little bit with fire. Not going to bother. He does have a 3rd queen on the way, and his 2 Lings are already very weak. That he could drone pool himself and probably have less losses. It might just be the right call not to make any more Lings, which is exactly what he's purposefully doing. He's going to be able to save the queen as well, lose no drones, and okay, that was absolutely perfect. SortOf did not get any return from that, even though he could have. Again, at least 1 or 2 Ling pairs instead of those 2 extra drones could have been a big difference, and you're not using your Lings for much else because you don't have speed, right? But Elazer handles that rather well. Now has a 5-worker lead, a 3rd queen as well to help out with the defense. Seriously getting some lag here. This queen was put to the main base trying to save her life, but looks like she ends up dying. That's unfortunate. Or does she? Oh! Queen lives. And SortOf feeling a little sad about that opener. He's trying to catch up on the drones now, but it's not really ever going to happen. He made more Lings and had less drones from the get-go, right? So, that income graph should just be all red, and it is. Exactly what Elazer wanted. Did Elazer send something out there? I thought it was taking a 3rd base, but I guess it was wrong. So Roach-Warren Evolution Chamber in a lair. SortOf once again goes for the speed here, even though he could have also gone, I suppose, for the Roach-Warren Evolution Chamber wall off. So faster 3rd base for him. Slower for Elazer. Elazer does open himself up to maybe like that +1 attack with the Roaches. And SortOf would have to take seriously. But yeah, could also just drone. Actually takes the third base right now, which is a little bold, right? Because sort of could be going for Lings and sort of could have sight on that third base, which right now he doesn't actually, but it doesn't matter because he is going for Lings, and that's the most important thing here. He's going for a ton of Lings, so that's an easy cancel on the third base, but this is actually more than just something that can cancel, that can, you know, run around and threaten, sort of. This is actually a ton, a big commitment on those Lings. So Elazer sees this now with this Overlord, but it was kind of far back, already almost halfway across the map before he gets to actually make a wall, and he's not making a wall. He actually didn't notice until the second Overlord, so the wall is not being made, but roaches are already out. 4 more on the way as well with a couple of queens. It looks like he won't be killed in a very ridiculous fashion, because if he had, you know, 2 roaches and 2 queens and no wall, he's probably just dead. But he does, in fact, lose that third base. Now, was that actually enough? I mean, you invest 100 into the speed again, and then you go for a ton of Lings. You are delaying your roach transition a little bit, but the roach worm doesn't take that long to build, so you'll have the ability to make roaches, but you won't have a lot of roaches. You won't have that upgrade as fast as a Elazer either, and you won't have roach speed, which defensively maybe is fine that you don't have that, but if you ever want to take control of the game again, it'd be a little while from now on, right? Lings are going to not look as good. With that +1 missile done and the Carp is not done, and with so many roaches available for a Elazer. So this is the real, this is the tough time for SortOf. His Elazer also keeping tabs on his roaches. With this counts and the upgrade done, he doesn't really have to worry about them being surrounded, really, but for instance, reinforcements could be, so that's what I think he's being more careful of. Nice micro with the Ravager there. But he knows he has an attack to hit, and he's going to absolutely hit it. He had roach speed kick in. +1 Carp is still not done for SortOf, but he also got caught just still producing roaches. 10 more are on the way. If they were here right now, this is probably a hold, but they're not. They're going one at a time, so he's going to lose drones. His Lings were eventually cleaned up by the reinforcing roaches, and a Elazer might have to temporarily stall out his third base. This attack will definitely work out here. He's going to take game for 1. And look quite convincing doing it too. That opening just worked out so well for Elazer. Sort of not really willing to admit defeat, but is a situation where even if he did hold, he would have been at less drones. Yeah, GG. And even before that, he would have been the similar drone count. Not really a lot going for him, so not much else going for him. So tap out was in order. GG. Elazer continuing to look like he will be taking the first qualification spot. Rip Mass Effect? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sadly skeptical of Star Wars games for me after loving Star Wars my whole life. Yeah, I'm with you. But I think if they don't do things that everyone hates, you know, like make microtransactions and put the emphasis on like, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't put the emphasis on trying to gain as much money as humanly possible throughout the longest period of time, right? If they actually just focus on making a single player game with very limited additional content, then I'm on board. But yeah, it's possible that they make this awesome game that's like 7 hours long, and then they're like, oh yeah, we had to buy DLC to make it really cool. So I still gotta be scared about that. After many people leaving the lobby, the countdown started. We're finally ready to go into game number 2 on New Repugnancy. The winner of this will advance on to the round 5, which is... Okay, that's 2 away from qualifying. Okay. Actually, Mana still waiting for his opponent is going to be the hold up here on the side of the bracket. Elazer is going to be waiting for a while. Yeah, alright. In the top right, as the red Zerg up 1, it is Elazer. In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it is SortOf. And since they're both not early pooling, I will go ahead and go get some water. Huh, Emil's not in here. Alright, well, ZTV, I believe in you. You're back. Alright. Did he ever move his camera? It doesn't matter. Okay. So, slight difference of the hatcheries, looks like. Maybe 16 versus 17. And then everything is normal otherwise. Both have taken gases. Alright then. Ugh. One person goes for the faster Overlord. I mean, such slight differences. But not in the mountain very much. Now, they both go for speed with those gases, so we'll be seeing third bases and then a little bit of a Ling scuffle. You'd think SortOf would be a little shy to go into the more micro-intensive parts of ZDZ, the Baneling phase. But if you are going to go for the speed into third base, then you are probably going to have to play the Baneling stuff, at least a little bit. You can go for the build that doesn't require it, or, well, that risks not getting it, where you go for the Roach Warren very quickly behind a Ling attack, or you could just simply both go for a Baneling Nest and decide not to engage each other. But Elazer is the first one to grab that Baneling Nest. Pretty safe timing. SortOf still pushing it off. Not just pushing off the Baneling Nest, but also still not getting any decent amount of Lings. Neither of them are. So this might be an issue where Elazer just could have gone without it. Alright, so he's gonna make the Lings. Someone had to, really. Realistically. Someone has to be the first one to make the Lings. SortOf is going to try and skip that Baneling Nest, go straight for the Roach Warren. You do this usually behind your own aggression, so you make like 16 Lings yourself and kind of bring it to the opponent first. You force them to respond to you, and then you can also kind of control the engagements a little bit more, get some better scouting as to how much they're committing to their own Lings. But this is kind of just going off the idea that Elazer won't be very aggressive, which... I mean, he's not. He made some Lings first, but he didn't even make that many Lings, and has made a single defensive Baneling. This Ling's gonna go out ahead and scout. It'll get very useful information if it gets past that Queen, which I think it should. Yeah. So it sees the Roach Warren, knows that whatever Lings he sees with the Overlord won't really be super committed, and even sees that the lair started behind this, so just like double confirmation on that idea. Elazer did not have to go for the Baneling Nest if we're talking like absolutely perfect game here, but it's not going to be the worst thing, especially if it does help take out these Lings ASAP, because even though this isn't going to be super dangerous, it's not going to snowball. If you take the Lings out immediately, you can go back into droning just a little bit smoother, safer, more intently. Whereas of now, I mean, he is actually going for 16 more Lings, right? But it is with a lair. So while if this was no lair, and the Roach Warren was like already done, and I saw that many Lings, I'd be like, oh, is else gonna produce roaches, you know, in a second? Nah. Just gonna take advantage of this defense, yeah, of the defense, and then counter attack, because that's what Lings do. Isn't it a ZVZ in a nutshell? You defend, you counter attack, you defend, you counter attack. All your units are so damn speedy. The Roach Zero down the way for SortOf, who also starts up his Roach speed faster than his opponent. Makes sense, but probably not that much faster. The Lynx speed here. These speedlings did their job in that counterattack, grabbing 2 roaches. Queen? Did they grab a queen? Wait, they didn't grab a second. Okay, I guess those were just lings that died. So 1 roach, a couple of drones, though, is really nice, as that does put Elazer ahead by a tiny amount. His +1 is slightly behind, but as the roaches still have to make their way across the map, even with that speed done, it's only halfway done, there is not going to be any timing there for SortOf. He just kind of falls a little bit behind. Now, Elazer does actually still have... Yeah, okay, Elazer is eventually going to, I guess, get that boost. Oh, you know what? No, he actually does have it. Okay. Always go to the graph first. I don't know why I went to income first. He actually has had it for a while. I thought they were hovering similar drone counts, but Elazer has been grabbing more income, which right now is not, directly inflated his army supply, but it will soon. So it sort of pushes out with his roach speed, with his +1. There's going to already be a nice wall of roaches, a similar army supply, and then on top of that, Elazer might just be able to get a few more. SortOf just continuing to build roaches. They both hovering around that very safe 50 counts, no one over-droning the die at this point. And actually, SortOf decides to take the engagement. Well, Elazer really was the one that forced the engagement. He just jumps on top of SortOf's army, and SortOf absolutely melts. It's just done. He's just gone. GG. That was not even close.